Welcome back. Our work weeks often fly by, pushed ahead by fast technologies, overloaded schedules, and high expectations. It's a big source of stress for many of us. But three girls in New York City have found a way to slow it all down. They traded in the rat race for a lifestyle with a different pace.
Hi. We just got here to Sydney. Excited to get started sightseeing.
They call themselves the Lost Girls, three Americans on a trip around the world.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jennifer.
13 countries, 5 continents, and 50,000 kilometers, with a final destination that can't be looked up in a guidebook or found on a map.
As far as general attractions go in Sydney, we've got the Opera House.
Yes, we saw it.
Sydney is the final stop on a year-long journey that began last summer. Jen, Amanda, and Holly say they were stressed out, working 12-hour days, often 7 days a week in New York City. Jen was a marketing manager. Amanda was a writer. Holly was a magazine editor. They dubbed themselves the Lost Girls when they realized they were worn out by work, all before the age of 30.
I just didn't have any balance. I was working all the time.
You know, we all wanted to change the stress level in our lives.
There's a lot more to life than sitting behind a desk.
Oh, let's go.
They decided to take a career break and turn in their BlackBerries for backpacks.
Paring down your entire life into a single backpack really shows you that you don't need half the things that you think you do. I mean, all I really need are my running shoes and my computer, I admit it, and my journal.
The Lost Girls represent a growing number of workers in their late 20s, 30s, and 40s who are choosing to downsize their lives, at least for a while, to travel abroad or volunteer. It's not a new concept.
All right, let's go find out about tickets. You have to go check in.
Many college students take so-called gap years before entering the workforce. Britain's Prince Harry went to Africa and Australia after graduating from Eton. And the Aborigines have a name for it. They call it a walkabout, or a rite of passage that comes from a journey. But like any trip worth taking, there were bumps in the road.
If we try singing, if anybody would actually like throw some
If I sang, I'd have to pay them. We're actually at that point now. We might have to start doing that for our plane ticket home.
So far, the Lost Girls' career break has cost them their savings, about $15,000 apiece. One boyfriend who couldn't cope with the distance and the occasional moments of uncertainty.
I think we all three of us at that point had not doubts because we were so far in. Clearly, we were going to finish the trip. But just that feeling of, God, I want to be home. I want to be in my own bed. I want to be watching Sex and the City reruns. I want to be, ordering pizza. But you just can't decide to do that when you're on the other side of the world.
The Lost Girls learned to navigate their way through the difficulties, experiencing snapshots of life in different countries. But it was a train ride in India that helped them see the bigger picture.
We get on the car, and there are just cockroaches everywhere, all over. They were crawling like they were down my shirt, they were in my bag. I've never seen so many cockroaches. I noticed this mother and these children that she was playing with, and she came over, sat down next to me, and just offered me her food, and we just started talking, and it was that human connection. It was that moment of, this is why I'm on the road.
And for all the places they've seen, they say some of the best souvenirs are the things they've learned about themselves and the memories.
I think it's not often that people get to actually, experience something that they've always wanted to do, to fulfill a passion and fulfill a dream. So the day that we arrived to Kenya was absolutely my high. I just remember being on the bus and I saw a little boy sitting on a hill and he smiled and waved at the bus, and I lost it. I started crying because I was so happy that I was able to be there and do something I've always wanted to do with two of my best friends.
The Lost Girls have kept a diary online, and fans back home have virtually followed in their footsteps. Jen, Amanda, and Holly know that many of the familiar stresses of careers, city life, and family await them in New York. But they say the dust from this trip of a lifetime won't settle anytime soon.
As long as you take a chance, nothing's wrong. You can always change direction. If something doesn't feel right, you can fix it. I mean, we did that every day on the road. We slept with 100 cockroaches on one train car.
Never thought that would happen. Never thought I'd be able to sleep.
The Lost Girls. Perhaps not so lost after all.
Bye,
Goodbye,
Sydney.
If you need a break from work, you don't have to go away for a year. In fact, if you want to try something different, you can always volunteer on your vacation. There are many organizations that match so-called voluntourists with short-term projects around the globe. There's a world outside your office. Don't forget to look out the window sometimes. Well, that's it for this edition of CNN's Project Life. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta.